Recording in progress.
Good evening, Alan. Are we correcting? Hello? Alan Butler, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you, Chairperson.
Are we correcting?
Yes, we are. We have 7 members on the platform.
Okay. Honorable Business, Gateman. Okay. Can you fly to the agenda? Let me, in the meantime, welcome honorable members who are here in the platform and the SCOF support team. You are all welcome. We have an item here today to adopt the committee BRRR. Do we have apologies?
No apologies received, Chair.
Okay. No apologies received. Let's move to the next item, which is the consideration and adoption of the committee budget review and recommendation report. That is the BRRR. Honorable Squad, can you chair that item? I've got another matter to attend to here simultaneously as we have finished late and there are calls that are coming, so I can't ignore this other commitment. But I'll remain in the platform. Are you there, Honorable Squad?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, please take us through what we do. Because we take it that members have read the report, so we don't start from page 1 usually, unless members want to do so. But in most cases, what we do, we go to observations and recommendations. But if members feel that they want to start from page 1, you can do so. But preferably, we start from observations and the recommendations. Over to you. Take us through until the end of the meeting, because I'm not sure how long it will take me to attend to this other matter.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chair. Colleagues, there we are. Can we then start with the observations? Colleagues? I don't see any hands. Unless, colleagues, you want us to get Alan to take us through the report. Am I not audible?
You are, you are.
Honorable Alexander has her hand up.
Okay. Yes, thank you for helping me. Honorable Alexander?
No, Chair, I was just saying that I have no input from my side. I just put that in the comments section
Okay.
in the meeting.
Okay. Any other? Alan, can you then take us to recommendations?
Mr. Sekwati, I'm going to ask Zakele to do that. I'll flag from my side, but Zakele will take the committee through the observations and recommendations. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Good evening, members and chairperson, standing chairperson. I'll just go through. We normally go through point by point here on this section. Sometimes we have an observation and not have any recommendation. Sometimes we have a recommendation about an issue. So we normally put them together like this. When there's an observation, it becomes obvious in that particular sentence. So the first section that we start with this time is that this was the final year of the medium-term strategic framework of government from 2019 to 2024. And just reflecting on that, so 6.1 talks about that this was the last year of that medium-term cycle, and the finance portfolio contributes to those 7 priorities that are there in the MTSF. It just talks about that. On the second point, AXA had reported to us when they were presenting about the BRRR that the finance portfolio strategic plans and annual performance plan were aligning to those priorities in the MTSF. And specifically in areas of provincial and municipal budget systems, asset management, reduction of irregular expenditure, and integrated financial management system rollout. And they presented that there were key targets that have seen some partial progress, but many of these targets were not met. So that talks about that. And especially in this area were issues of unfunded budgets, which remained high, with 108 municipalities reporting unfunded budgets. In the most recent assessment, issues were also seen when it comes to issues of asset management, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, where it increased from the 2019 up until now, from 108 billion to I think it's 130 something billion. And there was also this ongoing issue with provinces as well. So many of the targets were not achieved. So let's go down to point number 4. Chairperson, you'll stop me if members need to make adopt a particular point. And here, these are the observations of the committee that are proposed, that the committee is concerned about the continued increase in irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure across municipalities as highlighted in the AXA report. This expenditure has surged alarmingly, despite National Treasury's directives urging budgetary discipline. So this trend points to ongoing weaknesses in financial management, poor budget allocation practices, and a lack of fiscal accountability within local governments, particularly in municipalities already facing significant debt obligations to ESCOM and water boards. Members will remember that this issue was raised. Point 5 is the committee observes that the escalating municipal debt to Eskom and water boards has reached unsustainable level, risking the financial stability of state-owned companies, undermining the fiscal health of municipalities. This debt accumulation, largely due to municipal non-payment, has significantly impacted on SOE liabilities. AXA has warned that without agent intervention, water boards may face insolvency. So the committee, aligning with AXA's recommendation, will enhance its oversight of these matters to ensure fiscal accountability, focusing on municipalities' adherence with the Eskom debt relief program and other compliance measures to mitigate this financial strain. So this speaks to all those issues. Point 6, the committee also notes that many of the strategic outcomes were not met during this term, so the committee will request a comprehensive briefing from the Minister and National Treasury at the end of the third quarter of 2024 in order to receive a full briefing on medium-term strategic framework target achievements. So if the committee is going to be able to do this, it could remain in the report. If there is a change, perhaps it won't be able to do this in the program this year, perhaps put it in a future date. So those are the issues that relate to medium-term strategic framework. I'll stop there, Chairperson, and get your way forward. Yes, Chair. If there's no comments on the medium-term strategic framework issues, when we go to the general observations and recommendations on the whole portfolio of finance, can you go down to 6.7, Alan? Basically, members, 6.7 speaks to the issue of the audit outcomes of the portfolio for the past 5 years. It's seen some improvements since 2019 up until now, because in 2019, I think
Raise
only...
your voice a little bit. Raise your voice a little
Okay. Okay. Yes, 6.7 speaks to the performance of the portfolio throughout the 5 years from 2019 up until now. So it recognizes that although there was a regression in 2023-24 cycle, where we achieved only 63% of unqualified audit opinions, which is a decrease from the 69% of last year, there's been a general trend of improvement. And the second point expands on that point, highlighting that in 2019-20, only 6 entities attained clean audits. But now that has increased. So at 6.9, we note that in this current year, National Treasury and CBDA, as noted by the Auditor General, have advanced to unqualified audits with no findings, and their achievement reflects significant improvements in the control environment and decisive action on previous audit findings. Number 10, the committee notes that 8 entities, including the DBSA, IRBA, FIC, sustained clean audit status during this year, and this was attributed to strong leadership, efficient governance structures, and robust financial management practices. So these entities have demonstrated resilience in addressing audit findings promptly, supported by skilled and adequately resourced teams. 6.11, the committee notes the ongoing challenges that persist within the portfolio, particularly at the PIC, at JIPA, and the Land Bank. PIC, faced pertinent issues when it comes to issues of asset management compliance and regressed in its performance information audit due to material findings. GPR struggles with repeated findings in expenditure and supply chain management and consequence management, largely due to critical vacancies not being filled. There were issues also of material misstatements in financial statements, which are recurring at GPR, at the Land Bank and Land Bank Insurance Company, and because it couldn't comply with the new accounting standards of IFRS 17. The FFC also regressed from unqualified with no findings to unqualified with findings, primarily due to lack of skilled personnel and unfilled key positions in the entity. Similarly, with the LBIC, those are the problems. So on issues of irregular expenditure and consequence management, the committee notes the role of strong consequence management in achieving improved audit outcomes. CBDA was commended for significant strides in resolving past cases of non-compliance, and the PIC also made progress in implementing recovery processes for irregular expenditure, showcasing a positive impact of focused consequence management. The committee, however, also notes with concern persistent issues of irregular expenditure within the finance portfolio, which closed with the 23-24 financial year with an outstanding 1.3 billion irregular expenditure that had not been dealt with. A large sum of that was in the Land Bank with 981 million, and National Treasury itself was sitting with 280 million, and the other entities there are GPR and the Fiscal Commission. So the lack of progress in dealing with IE signals significant lapses in internal controls, contract management, and oversight. Moreover, the top 5 contributors collectively contributing 99% of this irregular expenditure. The committee recommends that National Treasury and each of the implicated entities develop and implement comprehensive action plans to address irregular expenditure in a timely manner. These plans should include detailed steps for investigating and addressing unresolved irregular expenditure cases, specifying whether they will seek condonment, initiate recovery, or apply other remedial actions. To improve oversight, National Treasury should also establish more stringent guidelines and set strict deadlines for irregular expenditure cases awaiting condonment or recovery, particularly those from previous years. So this is the recommendation there. And for the Land Bank, the committee recommends that all service level agreements be reviewed to ensure compliance with approval processes, with quarterly reporting to the committee on the progress of rectifying these irregularities. Furthermore, an independent audit of contract management practices at the Land Bank, National Treasury, and GPR is recommended to identify and address any systemic issues leading to irregular expenditure. And further recommendations that in cases where investigation into irregular expenditure are ongoing or not initiated, such as with FFC and GPR, the committee recommends establishing clear timelines for completion. This timeline should be monitored closely by internal audit committees and reported to ensure accountability. The committee further recommends that Treasury establish a mechanism to track progress on IE cases monthly, ensuring that cases do not accumulate and remain unresolved over extended periods of time. So these are the recommendations that are made with regards to consequence management and irregular expenditure. So another issue which members commented on were the issue of material irregularity and the integrated financial management system. So in this regard, the observation is that the committee is concerned about the ongoing material irregularity related to national treasuries payments for the IFMS, with 400 million classified as fruitless and wasteful expenditure accumulated over 6 years. The MI currently under legal review after a special investigations unit investigation highlights significant governance issues within National Treasury. In response, this committee will intensify its oversight on consequence management to drive accountability for this high-stakes project, emphasizing the need for a comprehensive briefing on the SIU investigations findings and recommendations before Parliament rises this quarter. So this is the comment that we got from members, that they would like to be briefed on the SIU investigation so they could take this issue forward. So the next point just highlights that the previous committee had also conducted oversight on this matter and submitted a report on 2 May 2023 regarding the IFMS project, which was initially budgeted at 4.2 billion in 2005 when this project was initially conceptualized, although there have been changes. And on the IFMS 1 billion was spent on it. And on the IFMS 2, 1.6 billion has already been spent on this project, which comes to 2.6 billion rands. So this 400 million was just identified since 2016-17 regarding the payment for technical support. Although this has been suspended over the past 2 years, we know that this issue remains unresolved. So the committee has to play oversight over this. Can you go down to 24, Alan? And another issue that came up was the issue of the effectiveness of the certificates of debts that are issued by the AGSA and so on, since there is a material irregularity on this issue. So in this discussion, the committee advised AXA to provide regular briefings on certificates of debts, detailing cases of significant financial irregularities, and timelines for implementation and monitoring processes to ensure their effective enforcement. And on 25, the committee acknowledges AXA's concerns regarding the limited parliamentary term, which restricts the committee's ability to conduct timely and proactive oversight. This delay in addressing issues increases non-compliance risk, especially for financially struggling municipalities and high-risk entities. ASCA's observations underscore the need for strategic prioritization of oversight activities by the committee, particularly for high-risk municipalities, and enhanced collaboration with ASCA, with the Auditor General's Office. Other issues that were highlighted in the AXA report were issues of ICT governance. With regards to these issues, IT governance across the finance portfolio has been substantially improved, with National Treasury, SARS, PIC, and DPSA fortifying their cybersecurity measures, enhancing system stability, and implementing strong IT controls. However, there have been outdated systems that have been noted as a risk in different departments. If you can scroll down, Alan. Especially the old legacy systems that are operating at National Treasury, which pose cybersecurity vulnerabilities. And in the DPSA, there are also issues in that. And another issue that was raised, which is an observation here, is on unlisted investments. There were issues raised with the PIC, especially on the return on investment when it comes to unlisted investments. So the recommendation that is made here is that the committee will conduct oversight over some of these unlisted investments, because this issue has been recurring for years, and the committee has not really conducted any oversight to see some of these projects that are being funded by the PIC. On 628, We note the issues that were reported by the AG with regards to the effectiveness of the DBSA in delivering infrastructure projects, and but the committee advises that departments need to develop their own internal capacity so that they do not swamp the DBSA and ends up being ineffective as well. So those are the issues that touches on almost the whole portfolio here. So there are recommendations and observations which focuses only on National Treasury, or mainly on National Treasury itself, because we reviewed its annual report. On 29, the committee knows that National Treasury achieved a budget utilization rate of 99.2%, underspending by 275 million out of a total allocation of 34 billion. This is an improvement compared to the previous year, where National Treasury underspent by 1.5 billion. This reduction in underspending from the previous year demonstrates better alignment between planned and actual expenditure. Nonetheless, the underspending across multiple programs continues, highlighting ongoing challenges in the timely execution of financial commitments, particularly in areas like procurement and capital asset investments. There was also this under expenditure on compensation of employees of about 3.5 billion. Members noted that with a vacancy rate of 15.9%, which is a high, the staff shortages pose a potential risk to effective service delivery, particularly in funded posts essential to Treasury's operation. While the committee acknowledges the importance of cost-saving measures, it stresses that the Treasury must be adequately staffed to fulfill its mandate effectively. Balanced approach is therefore recommended to ensure that cost-saving strategies do not undermine the department's capacity to meet operational objectives and maintain high service standards. 31, National Treasury should expedite recruitment of high-impact roles and develop a vacancy prioritization plan, starting with senior leadership positions. The committee requires NT to provide quarterly updates on staffing progress and the timeline for filling critical vacancies. 32, underspending in goods and service category reached 129.4 million, primarily due to delayed ICT procurement, reduced travel and meeting expenditures from cost containment measures, and slower than expected progress in consulting projects. So Treasury's expenditure reduction in these areas reflect an emphasis on cost efficiency, but may signal a need for improved planning and execution processes, particularly in high priority initiatives. So here the committee urges a Treasury to strengthen procurement and project management procedures to enhance service delivery timelines, optimize resource use, and support the department's broader program objectives. 33, there's been this underspending around the consultancy services, which highlights delays or inefficiencies in managing external contracts. Within the intergovernmental relation program, for instance, 17.8 million was underspent. And within the economic policy program, 5.3 million was underspent due to delays in appointing consultants. So these delays indicate potential challenges in effectively coordinating and optimizing consultancy services for planned initiatives. So addressing these gaps could improve project timelines and enhance the impact of consultancy engagements across National Treasury's key areas. 34, there was also underspending on travel and subsistence, which is more like a cost containment measure. Additionally, there were also other 1.5 million, which was underspent on venues and facilities. So these savings reflect Treasury's adherence to its cost containment measures, especially for travel-related activities, which aligns with the broader budgetary controls efforts for the fiscal year. On 35, the program 2 recorded an underspending of 10.9 million, primarily due to delays in planned consultancy services. This also the same issues that were noted above, that Treasury may need to plan better. On 36, we noted the use of environments, means transfer of reallocation of funds from other portions to the other areas that need money. Here, a total of 623 million was as a result of was used to support projects that needed more money. So 623 million was used in environments. So in section in 37, 38, and 39, it covers all these issues of environments where monies were moved from one program to the other within the department. You can go down, Alan, to where there is a recommendation that is being made at 40. So while we note all these environments here, 40 states that while the environments allow Treasury to manage budgetary constraints effectively, the reliance on frequent large-scale reallocations within the budget cycle highlights potential areas of improvement in initial budget planning. Adjustments on this scale suggest that enhanced alignment between programs' needs and budget distribution may reduce the necessity for such extensive environments, enabling more stable and predictable financial management. So on 641, what is noted there is the performance of the administration programs, where it achieved 94%, almost most of its targets. However, this program underspent by 123 million, and 100 million of this was the issue of capital assets procurement for ICT. Remember where it said there was a tender that was advertised last year and it was only just approved, and money could not be spent before the end of the financial year. So actually, in the whole of Treasury's presentations, when it comes to budgetary recommendation, it's like this is the only issue that it needed committee support for approval of the rollover of that budget from the previous year to the current year. So the committee has to decide whether it supports this rollover or not. That is number 42. On number 43, program 2 also notes the performance when it comes to program 2 with 30 research papers that were published by the National Treasury, and it notes that the underspending in this program due to delays suggests that there needs to be some improvement in the planning by National Treasury. At number 44, it relates to program 3. And program 3, the targets that were achieved are only 66.7% of all the targets. So, and we note that although targets on catalytic projects in infrastructure and delays in grant disbursement and underutilization in certain budget areas indicate areas where Treasury's performance may need further strengthening, the committee encourages continued efforts to streamline fund disbursements processes to support consistent delivery on budgetary commitments. Program 4 achieved 100% of its target, and The committee acknowledges Treasury's effectiveness in debt management and public asset oversight, as demonstrated by meeting all borrowing requirements. This level of compliance is vital for maintaining fiscal health. However, ongoing evaluations are recommended to ensure the sustainability of debt levels given current economic conditions. Program 5 only achieved 54.5% of its targets, and so it encountered performance issues, particularly with the rollout of the IFMS project. So these challenges have implications for Treasury's ability to provide effective financial oversight and support local government SCM capabilities. Can you scroll down, Alan? So the committee observes that improving SCM systems and financial reporting is essential to enhance local government financial performance and accountability. Program 6 achieved 100% of its targets, processing pension and benefits on time for the civil and military pensions. The committee recognizes the importance of this program in ensuring stability for civil and military beneficiaries and commends Treasury's precision in managing these benefits within budget, maintaining full compliance in an essential service area. Program 7 successfully met all its target, contributing to South Africa's economic positioning on an international level. This program facilitated effective engagement with BRICS, IMF, World Bank, fostering fiscal cooperation with regional partners. The committee views this as a key element in Treasury's strategic objective and suggests maintaining these efforts to reinforce South Africa's global economic role. We noted that the revenue administration and financial intelligence programs, which are program 8 and 9, achieved 100% of their budget. Although we don't comment on their program performance here because we deal with SARS later on. So the committee notes the consistent performance in these areas, which contribute to fiscal stability and national security. Continued focus on achieving full compliance and addressing irregular expenditure is encouraged to further strengthen Treasury's credibility and operational integrity. So National Treasury reported that out of approximately 80 municipalities that applied for ESCOM debt relief, only 17 managed to meet obligations, which raises serious concerns given that municipalities collectively owe ESCOM around 80 billion rand. This debt situation is increasingly unsustainable, impacting the long-term viability of ESCOM. 51, SCOF will request a comprehensive briefing from National Treasury, ESCOM, and COGTA to gain a detailed understanding of the municipal debt landscape, including debt profiles by municipality, compliance with debt relief programs, and specific barriers to repayments. This briefing should also assess the impact of municipal debt on ESCOM's liquidity and financial stability, while identifying any systemic risk posed by the national, while identifying any systemic risk posed to the national economy. Insights from this session will enable SCOF to develop targeted oversight recommendations supporting Treasury and COGTA in enforcing municipal compliance and strengthening ESCOM's financial sustainability. Furthermore, the committee will request the chairperson of SCOF to confer with the chairpersons of the portfolio committees on COGTA and energy and electricity to ensure coordinated oversight over this issue. The committee notes that labor market programs appear fragmented and difficult for beneficiaries to access due to numerous entry points across various departments. Concerns were also raised about the Jobs Fund, questioning its impact on addressing unemployment and whether funded projects have produced any tangible results in terms of job creation and economic transformation. National Treasury should evaluate the effectiveness of existing labor market programs and explore options for consolidating and restructuring these initiatives to establish a more streamlined and accessible support system. This approach aims to improve accessibility for beneficiaries and ensure that funding is allocated towards projects with a substantial impact. An impact assessment of the Jobs Fund is recommended, with Treasury required to present findings to the committee detailing how the program has contributed to employment creation and economic growth. Treasury should also improve reporting mechanisms to include measurable, outcome based indicators that accurately represent program achievements. To supplement this oversight, the committee will undertake random site visits to various Jobs Fund supported programs to assess their on-the-ground impact and alignment with the national employment and economic goals. 54, the committee recommends the National Treasury consider reforms to improve efficiency in pension-related programs, particularly by assessing any functional overlaps between the GPF and the GPA. By identifying and addressing redundancies, Treasury could enhance service delivery for beneficiaries and achieve cost efficiencies. 55, National Treasury should conduct a comprehensive review of pension programs, program functions, and services, specifically examining areas of duplication between GEPF and GPA. Despite National Treasury's investment in the Municipal Finance Improvement Program, which includes technical advisors and support costing 66 million, only 13 of the municipalities achieved clean audits. This indicates that the MFIP's intervention may not effectively be addressing fundamental issues in financial management and fiscal discipline within local governments. The committee will require comprehensive briefing from National Treasury on the MFIP's effectiveness and challenges. National Treasury should consider developing a revised support strategy with targeted interventions for municipalities at high risk for financial mismanagement, and is expected to provide quarterly updates on the MFIP, specifically on progress in achieving clean audits and strengthening financial management practices in supported municipalities. And 58, Treasury's Township Development Strategy, which included 40 catalytic projects, has shown limited progress, with few projects reaching completion. This delay diminishes the economic impact these projects are intended to generate in marginalized communities, and raises questions about the viability of Treasury's 5-year strategy for township economic development. And he should develop a focused timeline for each catalytic project, including funding allocations, deliverables, and completion dates. Quarterly updates on the township projects, project developments, including job creation matrix, should be presented to the committee to ensure projects deliver tangible benefits. 60, South Africa's grey listing status highlights ongoing challenges in prosecuting complex financial crimes, with only 14 of the required 22 actions fully addressed to date. The unresolved gaps in anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing measures pose risk to the cost of doing business and the stability of the financial sector, underscoring the need for stronger interagency coordination. The committee will request comprehensive briefing from National Treasury in collaboration with the relevant departments, regulatory bodies, and law enforcement agencies to outline a clear timeline for addressing outstanding grey listing requirements. This briefing should present a detailed action plan that includes defined roles, responsibilities, timelines, and key milestones to ensure successful completion of all the required actions by FATA. And when it comes to SARS observations, the committee acknowledges SARS significant progress in supporting South Africa's Economic and democratic roles, evolving from a paper-based system in 1990 to a modern digital tax administration. This transformation aligns with national objectives of inclusivity and fiscal stability, contributing positively to improve revenue collection and tax compliance. However, the committee emphasizes that ongoing modernization efforts should be inclusive, particularly targeting equitable access for taxpayers in rural communities, ensuring that these efforts do not create digital access barriers in underserved communities. The committee notes SARS's strong revenue growth with a compound annual growth of 9.9% since 1994, amounting to a cumulative 21.5 trillion since then. So this growth, coupled with an increased tax to GDP ratio from 20.2% in 1995 to 24.7% in 2023, reflects SARS's role in enhancing financial independence and economic resilience of the country. SARS's broadening of the taxpayer base by 1,133%, from 2.7 million in 2023 to 33 million in 2024, highlights the effectiveness of its measures in fostering a stable tax system. However, the committee observed that despite this expanded base, SARS's operational capacity remains constrained by limited funding. The committee notes that the lack of adequate baseline funding, compounded by inflationary pressures, has impacted SARS's ability to meet its growing responsibilities, hindering modernization initiatives and limiting the necessary expansion in human resources. SARS's workforce has decreased approximately by 20% over the last decade, affecting its capacity to address essential operational demands in areas such as enforcement, data analytics, and taxpayer assistance. This workforce reduction has led to a strain on service standards, presenting challenges in maintaining the high standards needed for efficient tax administration. 66. The committee observes that SARS modernization initiatives, which are essential. Can you go back to 66, Alan? '66, Alan. On point 66, actually, what he said is that the committee observes the modernization initiatives, which are essential to ensuring efficiency, security, accessibility in the tax administration. Given the increasing digital tax environment and the need for SARS to remain adaptable and responsive, there is a clear necessity for a stable, responsive funding structure of SARS. And lastly, the observation is that the committee notes that SARS reported a tax gap which was high, approximately 800 billion or 32% of the estimated tax liability remaining uncollected. These tax gaps underscores the need for SARS to enhance its compliance capabilities, particularly in addressing non-compliance in high-risk areas like illicit trade among high-income individuals. Furthermore, the committee is concerned that while SARS has made strides in revenue collection, the ongoing budget limitations have restricted its ability to modernize or optimize its enforcement capacity fully. So here there are recommendations which are made because actually SARS made specific budgetary requests that it needed the committee to support. It says that it needs the committee to support it, that there needs to be baseline funding for SARS. And here is a recommendation for that, which is suggested. The committee recommends that National Treasury increase SARS's baseline funding by 17 to 20 billion over the medium-term expenditure framework. This adjustment is essential to address the operational gaps created by years of limited growth in grant allocation, ensuring SARS can adequately meet its expanded mandate under current inflationary pressures. To support short-term revenue recovery initiative, the committee recommends an annual allocation of approximately 1 billion rands. This targeted funding would improve SARS's capacity to enhance compliance measures and achieve sustainable revenue growth, contributing to the national fiscal stability. For modernization, the committee supports the allocation of an additional 3 billion over the MTEF. This investment should facilitate digital upgrades, automation, and improvement in taxpayer services and compliance efforts. The committee further recommends that a portion of this funding be used to extend SARS's presence in rural areas through mobile offices or other accessible platforms, ensuring individuals in underserved communities have equitable access to tax services, therefore enhancing broader tax compliance and inclusivity. The committee recommends an allocation of 1.5 billion to support the hiring of 2,338 additional resources. Strengthening SARS's human resources is vital for improving service delivery, enforcing compliance, and effectively utilizing data analytics in tax administration. Given the dynamic nature of the tax and customs environment, the committee recommends periodic reviews of SARS's funding requirements. This approach will allow SARS's budget to adapt responsibly and to technological advancement and evolving priorities, helping maintain the organization's global competitiveness. Lastly, the committee requests that SARS submit annual reports detailing measurable outcomes achieved through these additional funding allocations, with a particular focus on revenue growth, tax-based expansion, compliance improvement. This transparent reporting will enable the committee to assess the tangible impacts of financial support on SARS's performance. Thank you, Chairperson. I've got flu. That's why my voice is a bit low and weak. Thanks.
Thank you, Doctor. That was quite long, especially if you've got flu. Thank you for that. Colleagues, that's the long short of the report. Can we then start? If colleagues feel that there are certain areas where we need to either amend or make additions to the recommendations, I think, colleagues, now is the time for us to be able to do so that we can at least have enough time to discuss the report. So long as it is, I'll then take hands. I can see Honorable Besley Sandy is up, and Mekalega Mazibuko Sandy is up. Can we then start with Honorable Besley?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I just want to compliment the preparer of the document. I think they've done an excellent job, and I've got nothing to add, but I just want to compliment the people. I think they've captured our discussions and our deliberations exceptionally well. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Besley. Mekalega.
Thank you very much, Chair. Echoing the sentiments of my colleague, I want to compliment the author of the report. It is very comprehensive and it has covered almost everything we have discussed and recommended as the committee. The only thing I would think maybe we omitted, if it is in order, where we are meeting in relation to ESCOM debt relief, where we will be meeting with the stakeholders involved, SOCTA, ESCOM, and that. I was just thinking that maybe we omitted the South African Local Government Association. I think if we can also include, if the committee allows, the SALGA in this, especially with the number of the municipalities that have responded in terms of the criteria and the qualification for debt relief. I think it is an alarming situation, and Salga maybe will be able to give us more detailed problems of the municipalities and those municipalities that are unable to do both, unable to pay, as well as unable to comply with the debt relief requirements. So I think, yeah, I was just going to propose to the committee, we might have omitted that if it is feasible that we include Salga on that list. Thank you. Okay. Otherwise, I approve the report.
Thank you. Colleagues, can I therefore take it that the expression of both Honorable Besley and Honorable Kaleka means that we are supporting the report with the additions that are made in terms of Salga.
Agreed.
Chairperson, Honorable Van Rooyen has raised his hand, and Honorable Bateman.
Honorable Van Rooyen. Honorable Van Rooyen. Honorable Van Rooyen, are you still there?
Chair.
Yes.
Yes, Chair. This is Honorable Mwali. Honorable Van Rooyen might be struggling with the network.
Okay.
But
okay.
I would like that the committee notes that MK Party does not support the report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That's fine. Colleagues, I can see a hand. Honorable Van Rooyen, are you still there?
Yeah, Chairperson, I'm here, but it's clear that I'm having connectivity problems. But it's okay, Chair, because it's not going to help for me to delve into the details of this report, because at the end of the day, as MK Party, we are not going to support this report.
Okay, but colleagues, even before we support the report, because we wanted to check if the report is properly captured in terms of our discussions, our interactions, and so on. And I think Honorable Besley and Honorable Kaleka have already alluded to the fact that they are agreeable in terms of how the report was captured and so on. But if that's the case, but we agree with what has been captured, whether we accept or not, it's another matter. But can we then agree, colleagues, that this is actually the report of the committee?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Mr. Sekwati, sorry, if there can be a mover and seconder for the report, and then after that, we can include the objection of the MK Party. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I see
Hello, Chair.
Honorable Bateman is hand is up, and
Chair.
Honorable Hadebe.
Can I continue, Chair?
Chair,
Yes,
please
please.
recognize me as well. My apologies.
Who's
Mautwe.
the Mautwe? Honorable Mautwe, I'm sorry, I could not see you on the screen. Okay,
Okay, Chair, thank you.
you can go on.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to echo those who've congratulated or acknowledged the work of Dr. Hlophe and on a very well done report. And I'd be happy to move for its adoption or to second that if this is the appropriate time to do so.
Thank you. It's actually appropriate. A mover has been taken. Can we get Honorable Mautwe?
Yeah,
Ompi?
thank you very much, Chair. Sorry, I got cut off a little bit, so I missed some part of the meeting. But I just wanted to also echo the same sentiments that we welcome the report by Dr. Hlophe. It's well crafted. We agree with most of the issues, introduction, the overview, the performance. However, when it comes to recommendations, that's where we have a little bit of a problem with those recommendations. I don't have to go into detail. We'll possibly debate it even in Parliament. But for SARS to ask for 1 billion annually, I think it's a bit steep. Most of that is not supported by any scientific information or research. And then they're asking for 1.5 billion to support hiring of additional resources. Those are the things that gives us problems. But other than that, we are fine. So on the basis of these recommendations, we're going to ask you to register our objection. Thank you.
Colleagues, Honorable Bateman has already moved for adoption. Can we have a second now?
Honorable Chair. Sorry.
Yes. Who was it?
It's Hadebe, Honorable Chair.
Oh.
Yes,
Honorable
I was.
Hadebe, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Honorable Chairperson. I was rising to second Honorable Beasley in the adoption of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Bowen. Can we then? Okay, already those that have got objections have raised objections, which is EFF, MKP. Am I correct to summarize
Yes,
it
Chair.
at that level?
Yes, Chair, you are correct. Please register the
Okay.
objection of MK Party.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Chair, you are correct also on the EFF. Thank you. On the objection of the EFF. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other colleagues? If none, then that becomes the report of the committee, and those are the objections that have been raised. And I therefore take this opportunity to declare this meeting closed unless there are other issues that the colleagues would like to raise. But if there is none, the meeting is therefore adjourned. Thank you, colleagues, for attending the meeting.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, colleagues. You have a good night.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, colleagues. Good night.